feelings, Dave? Greg, what you got?
When you always gotta start. When you always gotta start.
Do you ever start?
Occasionally, not all the time. Guys, last year, after the Wisconsin game, you talked about how you wanted to get further than that this time around. How are you kind of handling those expectations on an individual basis in terms of trying to move forward, but not looking too far forward?
We're very experienced teams. I mean, we just try to use that to our advantage before we take in consideration of going into this game. Just because, I mean, we had a great chance of going a little further than what we did. It's just, again, we have guys like Joel and Justin that weren't exactly in the right position to try to help us win that game. But I mean, we have those guys back, and they have this same experience that we do and get to the Sweet 16. So we just have to use that to our advantage.
Yeah, I think one difference is when we got to the Sweet 16 last year, we were playing Wisconsin, who was many projected to get to the Final Four and get to the championship. They had just gone to the Final Four, but now we're the team that's expected to make the run and expected to win. So I think that changes our expectations on an individual level too. You know, we obviously expected to win the game last year, but no one else did except for our team. So now that we have all the expectations and stuff, I feel like there's more of a seriousness and focus about this needing to be done rather than hoping it gets done.
One of the things Mike Krzyzewski always preaches over at Duke is that each team is its own separate unit and you only pay attention to that season. Is that even a possibility for guys like you that have been here for 4 years to enjoy this ride individually as opposed to what your career has been at this point?
I mean, he definitely has a good point. Everything you did in the past doesn't really matter. This is a different group. Whether it's the same collection of guys, they're still at different points in our careers. We're playing different basketball. Like Joel Berry, for example, is not the Joel Berry from last year. I think you can look at it. It's hard as a senior not to look at it on an individual basis, but at the same time, this is our last chance, so it's easier to just focus on this single season.
Marcus, how big of a concern is Indiana's three-point shooting? They're one of the best shooting teams in the country, and three-point defense for you guys, at least statistically, has been down this year.
Yeah, well, actually, I was just reading an article about how three-point field goal defense is not something that's always the control of the defense. I don't know if you guys are into statistics and stuff like that, but it's definitely a concern of ours, and the only way to really impact that is to limit the number of attempts they get. So we're going to try to guard the three. Guarding the ball, staying in front of Yogi Ferrell is going to be really important because he creates a lot of that and stuff, and a lot of their open looks. So that's probably one of our biggest focuses going into this game is guarding the ball so we don't have to help our shooters, similar to Duke and similar to Notre Dame.
Where do you read that story about the three-point?
Maybe I think it was a Ken Palm article or something. I was Googling it today while I was in the Union, so I can send you the link if I find it.
This conference brought to you by Kevin.
I want to get to that though, because you guys, like last year, were among the best three-point shooting defenses, I think. And this year it's like in the 200s. Is that just, like you're saying, kind of a wacky, weird statistical
I guess. According to some people, I guess that's just how it goes. But I think we had personnel. JP was great last year. Our perimeter defense was really good last year. But this year, our entire defense overall better. And I think I don't know. It's hard to explain why our three-point defense can be 200 spots different from one year to another.
Marcus, the other night after you guys went on Saturday, you said now the fun really starts. Yet it's also a business trip. How do you kind of create that balance of the fun and the business trip?
Well, when I said the fun really starts, is like this is where it really gets. Everything is riding on your season right now, and you have to enjoy it. There's only 16 teams playing left, so you got to enjoy. The traveling, the hanging out with the guys and everything. But the only way to truly enjoy it is to go out there and play your best basketball, and that's what we think of when we think of having fun, is going out there and playing great and winning and advancing.
And you guys have come off as being very, very loose the last few weeks too. How much does that kind of help offset the stress of maybe what you are also trying to achieve?
I think that's just the personality of our team. We got guys like Bryce, Theo, that are always, joking around and loose at shoot-arounds and stuff, and that's just kind of the personality of our team. But once the game starts, it's a completely different tone.
For both of you guys, I know that at this time of year, you can't look past the next game because there may not be one after that, but when the brackets come out and you looked at that and you kind of saw Indiana and Kentucky in that same area as you, area of the bracket, what went through your mind? Was it an excitement? Was it a kind of, wow, we got a tough road, or what was your reaction to that?
Just ready to play. Just to be honest, it's my last ride, and trying to get to the Final Four, and that's the biggest goal that we've been trying to get to. It's just, I didn't really look at that. I was hoping that the tournament would be pretty good to watch, which it has been. It's been unpredictable, so that's the biggest thing. I wasn't really looking at the teams that are in. I was just like, hey, I just want to watch some good basketball and play good basketball at the same time.
Yeah, I just noticed how many, as a guard, I just looked at the guard play in our bracket. I was like, geez, we got all the best guards in one corner of the bracket, which was pretty cool. But other than that, it never plays out the way it never goes chalk. So you can never look too far ahead. And a lot of people were saying we weren't going to make it out of the first weekend. So a lot of my attention was trying to help us get out of that first weekend. Here we are.
Marcus, how much of an asset is it for you guys to be able to play small the way you have been with the 4 perimeter guys? You're defending well with it. You're rebounding well with it. With Bryce in particular in the middle, how much of an asset is it?
It helps a lot. Being able to use different lineups in the tournament is huge because it's not ACC play where you get 3 days to scout somebody and you've played against them before and you know what they're going to do. You're playing teams from different conferences, different just completely different styles of play from one game to the next. So having the ability to go small can save us in a lot of opportunities. And even when we matched up Theo with Bentel in that Providence game, gave him a different look than he's probably used to. Having a guard basically guard him. So it helps us out a lot. You got to credit Justin and Theo for being so versatile that we can mix the lineups up.
Bryce, do you like playing in that with one less big, or I mean, just the smaller lineup where you're the lone guy in the middle, let's say?
I definitely like playing with it. It's just, I think I like playing when I was there a little bit better, just because we kind of cover each other up on the defensive end. We know that we come from over the top, we able to block shots, just save each other's rear ends in that regard. But playing with the small lineup is a lot of fun, just because I'm the only big in there. Coaches always like, it's usually to our advantage, and we need to post up at all times on there because we're the only big in there. We want to be able to use that to our advantage.
How do you guys think people didn't think you would get out?
I don't know. We've always been an underdog half the year. Look at it. You have a lot of people that say we were underdogs in a lot of games, and we proved them wrong in all those regards. So keep calling us the underdogs, and we'll just keep proving you wrong.
I have no idea. It was interesting to see that when the brackets came out and hearing people talk, because pretty sure we were the number 2 overall seed behind Kansas, and everybody had Kansas getting out of the first round. Everybody had Michigan State getting out of the first weekend. So it was everyone's got to have their own bracket. So.
Marcus, what's your history like with Yogi? You guys have any kind of relationship, or how well do you know each other?
I've been playing against him since 9th grade. We're both from the Midwest. He was playing with Indiana Elite, so I've basically every other weekend we'd be playing each other in the championship game in some tournament. And then we were teammates at the McDonald's game, so I've been around him for years, not since, I guess, freshman year when we played up at Indiana, but he's a good player. And me and him have been going at it, trying to be the best point guard in our class for a long time, so it'll be a good to see him out on the court again.
Any memories stand out about your battles?
Honestly, we had a lot of fun playing together in the McDonald's game. We both played pretty well and kind of played off each other a little bit. But in terms of going head to head, I think we played in Spiece, which is a big tournament in Indiana, and I think our team beat theirs in the championship. And they had beat us the last couple of times, so that was pretty cool. But that was also 10 years ago. So
Is this a last laugh scenario then between you two?
I don't really think it's about us two. it's more about us trying to advance. You know, I would never even think about it if I hadn't been asked that question. So I'm not approaching the game that way. I'm sure he's not either. You know, we're just trying to advance.
Have you followed him much at IU?
Yeah, from afar. You know, I always follow people in our class because, you know, you play so much with them in the summer circuit and stuff that, you know, everyone goes their separate ways. You always follow them from afar and see how they're doing. And you see him on TV, you'll watch and just see what's going on. And he's had a great career. You know, he's had an All-American year this year. And, you know, he's from Indiana, so he's really, like, beloved in the state. So, you know, obviously, I want to keep going, but we want to put an end to that.
You guys have some similarity where he's gone off the ball some this year more than in previous years. What do you see in his game now that's kind of changed and made him as good a player as he is?
Well, I mean, his freshman year, he was the distributor because their team was stacked. You know, they had a bunch of different pros that he could throw the ball to. This year, he needs to be more aggressive, more of a scorer. So having him off the ball gives him a chance to do some of those things. He's shooting the ball terrific. You know, he's getting in the paint. He's really aggressive, more so than he has been in the past. So I think that's what's helped him being off the ball.
Bryce, is there any less pressure on you guys now as you move forward, knowing that you've already put some banners up in the rafters when you leave?
There's definitely still some pressure just because we are a 1 seed and we want to be able to make it to the Final Four. You know, those were two of our goals, to be able to win the regular season and the ACC championship in the tournament. But at the end of the day, we still have a couple more goals to go. So I mean, we want to be able to make it to the Final Four. And that's another banner up there. So we still want to do that. And then you want to win it. You want to win it all. So I mean, there is some extra pressure that we just got to go out there and just play our best basketball.
Bryce, when you start getting loud and emotional, you can tell the team just feeds off of you. Do you recognize yourself as an emotional leader?
Sometimes. I mean, I think Theo is more of the emotional leader because, I mean, Theo talks a little more than I do. I scream after I dunk and a couple of blocks here and there. But I do realize that sometimes in the heat of the moment, I do scream after a dunk. And usually a lot of guys feed off of it. Like Justin was screaming in the picture with me and him. I've never seen that out of him before. So I do realize it though.
Do you feel unique in that sense because you're counting one hand the amount of players through the years at Carolina who show that kind of emotion? Do you feel unique in that way?
Yeah, I definitely do feel unique in that way just because Coach used to get mad at me for it, and now he loves it. He doesn't really say much to me about it. So I mean, at first it was kind of weird doing it, but at the end of the day, I just had to remember that that's who I am, and that's just the way I play.
Is that the way he is in the room, Marcus? Is that the way he is in the room?
Oh, no, not even close. Once he steps on that court, he's a different dude. But he's really mellow, laid back for the most part, off the court. And then, yeah, he just turns into a beast once he gets in the paint. That's fine by me.
For both guys, your roles have changed as far as being the go-to guy. Has that affected your relationship as friends and roommates?
Nah.
For both you guys, what was the most valuable loss you guys had this season in terms of teaching you guys a lesson that you needed?
Probably the Notre Dame game, the first one, up in South Bend. That'd probably be the one I'd say, just because we were up by so much, and then we just kind of let up off the gas, and then they'll beat us. And then just looking at the game in the tournament, when we finished out the game, we played the entire game, and the outcome of that game is, that'd probably be the biggest thing I would say.
What was the main thing after that that you remember in terms of just learning from it and building off of it?
And just, like I said, just finishing the game. We were up on the road. Game day is the biggest game of the night. And then all of a sudden they wanted it more. And we can't allow that to happen.
Coach was really defending Kennedy last night on the radio show. Where is he at from your guys' perspective? It's been obviously a really rough tournament for him, relatively speaking. Can he be an impact guy for you going forward still, you think?
Yeah, he can definitely be an impact guy. I think sometimes with both of our centers, the matchup kind of dictates how well they can or how effective they can be. But he's in a good place. If they play a guy like Bentel is like a stretch five, can play all over the court. That's a little bit tougher cover for Kennedy than it is someone like Bryce or Isaiah that have better lateral quickness and stuff. But we've seen him be really effective throughout times this year, and he's still in it, we're still in it with him, and you know, there's gonna be a time we need him, and he's gonna come through. So I don't think we're too worried about it.
Anybody else?
Yeah, could y'all go back and kind of describe your recruitment, how you kind of ended up at UNC?
It's gotta be real short. I mean,
Sorry. I know JP story with you. What other schools are y'all considering?
I was considering Florida, and probably the only other one I was really considering.
It was really just
Because
UNC.
Coach Williams called me, I was like, hey, why not? I mean, me coming here it was based off of location for me. Just after I lost my mom, I wanted to be close to my family. So, I mean, that was probably the biggest thing. And just, why wouldn't you want to play in the ACC? It's the best conference in basketball. We got 6 teams in the Sweet 16 right now. I mean, you have people still saying we're not the best conference. So, I mean, why not play in the best conference it's supposed to be?
Yeah, it came down to Kansas, Iowa, and UNC for me. I was getting recruited by some other schools, but after I almost committed to Kansas my sophomore year, but then once I came down here and visited and stuff, that was pretty much it.
Jeff Growley wanted to ask Bryce, can you please describe Marcus, since Marcus described you, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see, describing Marcus. He has a lot of smart remarks. Start with that. He likes to get under my skin sometimes, but I mean, he's a pretty laid back dude. He doesn't go out of his way to do anything crazy. You know? Sometimes I don't even see him. You know? I mean, he's not as laid back as I am, but I mean, he's a really cool dude, man. I enjoy having him as a brother, man. Like a brother I never had.
4 years out.
Yeah.
I haven't got sick of it yet. Maybe a little bit.
Do you know any other players that read like analytic articles like Marcus seems to chew up?
That's another thing. Marcus, and he eats popcorn a lot. I have learned that in the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's a bad habit of mine. Except for throwing those out. I like to read. Whatever I come across, I read it because I feel like the more you know, the better prepared you are for any situation. Like maybe I want to be a coach someday, or maybe I want to, talk about basketball on TV. And the more I know about that kind of stuff, the more well-rounded I'll be in that regard. So.
Do you have your own Ken Pom subscription?
I wouldn't be
Do
surprised.
you have your own Ken Pom subscription?
I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
No. I don't think I can afford it.
That's $20.
Yeah, $20 a year.
College.
High price media, people.
$20.
That's covered by cost of
You
attendance.
got the budget to be able to do that.
Go fund the budget.
Remember Shabazz Napier?
Popcorn like the official snack food of Iowa.
I'm done.
That's messed up, Christian. That's messed up.